I know you can't name names, but you were involved in what, some of the most high-profile divorces in this country?
I am, yes.
Okay, so what's the difference between one where you're talking about $1 billion and one where you're talking about $100,000?
An extra comma and a few extra zeros. The issues are emotional issues run the show a lot of times, and so it's just people get accustomed to the money they make and the money they spend, and you still have to split money, right? You still have to deal with the children. So divorce is divorce. The high net worth ones, couple extra commas.
Right, but it's also very complicated, though, isn't it?
Very complicated, yes.
Okay, so what's the most complicating factor in these divorces?
In these divorces, often you have concentrated stock to deal with, right? You've got people where women may be getting 90% of their divorce settlement. If it's a thinly traded company and your husband's the CEO, you're getting 90 to 100% of your settlement in stock. So you have to deal with disposing of that in a way that's not going to hurt a market. You've got your net worth in one stock now, so it's not asset allocation as usual. It's got to be dealt with in a very specialized way.
And how do you figure out? I mean, I imagine many of these women, because a lot of these are women, right? I mean, I want to be fair. You know,
of course, it's generalized. Yes.
Yes. Okay, so a lot, but many of these are women.
Yeah.
And I imagine that they have not worked during the time that their husband was building up his career to the very top. So how do you calculate what she gets out of that, being, you know, if she was a stay-at-home mother most of that time?
Yeah, so, you know, she worked in a different way, right? And so in this state especially, you know, it's an equitable distribution state, which is often 50-50 unless there's an active business. So calculating it is all about disclosing assets, disclosing income, what's in the marital pot, and how do we get all the information we need to see what the exact asset expense.
Well, how do you get the information? These are pretty savvy people.
They are, but divorce is about disclosure, right? So you're either going to hand the paperwork over and the tax returns and do it in a very willing, easy fashion. I mean, you have to disclose, or you go through the formal discovery process.
So do you find, though, that the tax documents are your #1 source of finding out where the money is?
If a woman comes in and can't answer the question, that she doesn't even know what money is in her name, maybe she just knows the house is in joint name, but if you have no idea what investment accounts, what hedge funds, what's in your name, the first roadmap is a tax return. It's not exactly 100% clarifying, but it does give you questions to ask to find out what documents have to be
And
pulled.
how did you get into this? I mean, how did these women find you?
Yeah, so about 15 years ago, you know, I've been a financial advisor my whole career, and about 15 years ago, people were walking into my office, and women with divorce settlements, and I always say a divorce settlement is the earliest retirement plan a woman's going to have, especially if she gave up her income earning ability, right? So this settlement has to last 20 to 30 years longer than a retirement plan. It's a very interesting dynamic to sit there and look for a 45 or a 50-year-old woman and say this money might need to last 50 years. So I just started to layer a divorce specialty over it and just 100% focus.
So you were financially advising,
yeah.
And then you layered the divorce.
Yes.
And now you specialize in divorced wealthy women. Then.
Yeah, CEO wives divorces. It's just a specialty within a specialty. It's just my client base.
Okay, what, 90% of your client base?
Yeah, 90%.
Okay, all right. Well, if you're going through a divorce, call Michelle.